This is a recording for Math 10-3, Unit 1 and Lesson 2. The lesson is Unit Pricing. To define unit pricing, really it's the cost of one unit. Unit means one. So a good example is this first one. If you have a carton of 1 dozen eggs and it costs $3.29, how much do you pay for one egg? So one egg is the unit. And we can do that by recognizing that we're paying $3.29 and we're getting a dozen eggs, which is 12 eggs. So if I divide that out, that's going to give me the cost, which is about 27 cents per one egg. And so we now have the unit price for each egg. And we will write our statement. One egg costs approximately $0.27 or 27 cents. I'm going to go to the next example. And this is an example where we're using unit pricing to determine for us which of two objects or two products is the better price. So the first product we have is a 48-ounce can of tomatoes, and they cost $2.99. And we're going to compare that to an 18-ounce can of tomatoes that costs $1.19. And which one of these is our better buy? So again, we take the cost, $2.99, we divide out the number of ounces. So 299 divided by 47, and 48, that gives us approximately 0.062, so about 6 cents per ounce. Doing exactly the same thing with the 18-ounce tin of tomatoes, we divide it out, and this comes out to 0.066 or almost 7 cents per ounce. So we can see that our more expensive cost is the $1.99, and our cheaper or less expensive or better buy is the 48-ounce tin. So we will write our statement. The 48-ounce can of tomatoes is the better buy. Now we need to consider other things, right? If we're going to use all 48 ounces, then it's the better buy. But if 48 ounces of tomatoes is too much and you end up having some go bad in your fridge, then your cost per ounce of used tomatoes goes up. So you have to be careful. It's not just down to the dollars and cents. Let's look at another example. Here, this in example number 3, we have Sharon, who is a manager of a fabric store, and she's training a new employee. She wants to set up a easy reference chart for this employee about the cost of fabric for different lengths of that particular fabric. So 1 meter of the fabric costs $8.42, and we're being asked to fill in the rest of the chart. So we've got the 1 meter and $8.42, but we want to know what 1/2 meter costs. And now a 1/2 meter is fairly clear because we can look at this and say, oh, well, if it's a 1/2 meter, it's going to cost me half as much. And that's exactly right. But just because we can do that in our head, it doesn't there's going to be more complicated questions. And so it's really important that we don't just rush through it, say, oh yeah, I can do that one, without going and taking the time to learn how to set up the ratio and proportion. And again, here we're going with $8.42 for 1 meter. we compare that, or we put that in equal to half a meter, and we're looking for the price for half a meter. Notice they match across the top and across the bottom. So we're going to use a process of cross multiplying and dividing. So we multiply 0.5 times $8.42, and then we divide it by 1 meter. So we have $8.42 times 0.5 meters. Divide that by 1 meter, and that gives us X. And notice the units of meters cancels, and we multiply $8.42 by 0.5. And as we said, we come up with exactly half. So the cost for half a meter is $4.21. Now, as I say, we could have done that probably in our heads, but now we have 1 3/4 meters, or 1.75 meters. This one's a little more difficult to do in our heads. We can estimate it. We know that 1.75 is not quite 2, so it's going to be less than twice the price, but certainly more than if I add 1.5 meters. If I add those up, that would be about $13 approximately. So it's going to be somewhere between $13 and $16. So let's actually do it and see if our approximation comes out. So we know that $8.42 is the cost for 1 meter, and we want to determine, what the cost is, X, for just give me a second here. Good, I found the eraser, and now we'll put the right unit in there. So it's a dollar, or sorry, 1.75 meters. Again, we cross multiply and divide. So it's 8.42 times 1.75, all divided by 1. And when we calculate that out, we come out with 4.74 is X. So it's $14.74. And so it came out right in that pocket where we estimated. Okay, here I want to turn to the practice work that you should be doing now that you've finished watching the video. You'll do building your skills, and there's 1 through 9, and they occur on page 27, 29, and 31. And when you finish that, go on to practice your new skills on page 32 to 35. Remember, it's important that you always check your answers in the back so that you're laying out good pathways in your brain and correcting them when you make a mistake. Have a good day. Bye now.